Hello and welcome to the Feedback Show. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
Now, something slightly different this week. Everyone might be thinking, is this live?
I'm live, Steve.
You're live
Oh, yeah.
and I'm live, but when they're listening to this, it isn't live. Um, to give a bit of context to what we're talking about here, the Google Hangout system, which we use for broadcasting over YouTube, I've tried a few times today to get it to work, and it keeps coming up with a message saying that Google Hangouts is experiencing a problem. So, of course, I Googled that error, and lots of other people are having the same problem today. So, I thought we'd try this out as an alternative. So, we're doing it over Skype and recording it for you guys, pre recorded. But it kind of makes sense that we do it this way, possibly in future as well, because we've had some fun and games with Google Hangouts over the last few months.
Oh, I would say so, yes.
With me dropping out and of the link and thinking that everything had gone wrong, and you chatting away happily for 5 minutes by yourself, and then me returning to the call and not knowing anything about what had just happened. So that was
That's
fun.
right. It was
Um,
fun. But I don't think we necessarily need to repeat it, do we?
no, just despite all the fun, it has been a bit of a stress trying to get onto Google Hangouts sometimes. So I think this might be an alternative going forward. So anyway, the good news is that you'll know that we've recorded it pretty much as soon as it's gone up. So it's sort of live, bit delayed live.
Hmm.
Anyway, how are you doing, Dad?
Oh, I'm good, Steve. Yeah. Yeah. It's going very well at the moment, isn't it? Everything's going well on Colin Bradley Art,
Well, if
apart
people,
from the fact that you're running out of materials
yes, it's
and fighting to cope with the orders. Apart
yeah.
from that, no, it's great.
The interesting thing we sort of said about last week, if people listened to last week's podcast, we said about the border collie puppy,
Mm.
and we've just put that up yesterday on Tuesday, 29th of November. That went live, and what a reaction! Have you
Cool.
seen
Blimey, I should
Facebook?
say. I well, I haven't seen the Facebook, but the reaction on the views is amazing. I think it's one of the fastest we've ever had.
Oh gosh, you want to check out your Facebook page and
I
see
will. I will definitely do that.
because
The nice thing about that one was it is a little freebie, as I said in podcast last week. YouTube deserve it. It's done wonders for us. And what I did with that, you were very clever. I watched it back the other day, and it was very, very well edited. So we kind of got it together, I think, with this picture really well. And I think we're going to attract, which is the idea of it, a lot more members and customers to Colin Bradley Art because they want to enjoy all the fun and games that we all have and all our members have. So it was something that was needed, and it's obviously going to work.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I look forward to seeing people try that too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll probably get a few. I hope our members try it too, because although it's a little freebie, our members will, I'm sure, enjoy it too. But I've just finished work on a fantastic picture, just to satisfy the members and say, oh, yeah, we could get it all free. You can't. Not what I'm doing. And the picture that I've just completed is absolute stunner. And I won't say anything more about it, but it just goes to show that if we can spend the time, which I've spent the time, and we've got freedom with the pencils, which I did have, we can produce fantastic projects, which, members are going to have a great 2017.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we've got two projects planned before Christmas as well that are going to blow you away,
Oh, yeah,
completely blow you away. So look out for those in December. Well, let's crack on with the feedback show, shall we? So
yeah.
the first picture sent in to us is from Greg. It's another one of the St. Peter's church snow scenes, just in time for Christmas. Greg says, Colin and Steve, your video instruction was fantastic and the painting went extremely well. I believe the shading on the various walls of the church are fine, but there are areas which you could suggest improvements. Three tips that I repeat are patience, a light touch with a pastel pencil, and take advantage of the ripples of the ombre paper.
Well, how many times have I said that? The paper is a great asset to us. And in a situation like that, where you've got the church and any brickwork or any texture, really, it doesn't have to be brickwork, you can use the paper to really good effect. And he's done it really well. You can see, you look at, I mean, look, if you hadn't seen my picture on the left, if you hadn't seen that, people would look at that picture of Greg's and think, wow, that is a stunner. And it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really well done. So well done with that. Picking up the ripples of the paper is one of the best tips I've ever given. And we're very lucky to have the Engrais to do it with.
Absolutely. He goes on to say, I have also to remind myself that each stage of the painting builds upon the previous and that each edition affects the look of the whole.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. Another surprise was the importance of taking a break and looking at the picture from a few feet away. This is truly especially true of the characters.
Yeah. This again, it's always worth it when you're doing any picture. It doesn't matter whether you're pastel pencils or oil or watercolor, whatever. You've got to take little breaks away from it, because I think if you just keep ploughing on, you can't stop and check yourself. And sometimes you need to do that. And I'm constantly doing it. I suppose I work generally speaking, for about 20 minutes, I suppose, at a time. Then I break away. Even if I feel as I want to carry on, I still break away. I make a break, because that is important to look back on it. Sometimes standing away as well, a few feet away, as Greg suggested, is a good idea. You see things differently. So I totally agree with that.
Fantastic. Well done, Greg. I think the characters have come out absolutely brilliantly. Very impressionistic. Ideal, really. Even the tree here in the background.
Yeah,
fantastic work there.
Everything there is good. I mean, Greg will agree with me when I say that the more you do, the better you're going to be. And this will come because if you can produce a picture like that, you know that in 10, 15, 20 pictures time, you're going to improve even more. And that's what's exciting, knowing that the pastel pencils is going to help you all the way there. Just picking up those tips that you've just mentioned in this one picture is great. Look at what you've learned.
Brilliant. Well done, Greg. Okay, this one's from Gabrielle. Got a few from Gabrielle coming up. This is the first one. Hi, Stephen Colin. I wanted to show you a new commission that I've just finished. I thought it would be better to take a photo myself to avoid any problems that occurred with the last one, the beagle, where the head looked too big and the legs looked like miniature ones. Could you please tell me what you think about it, Colin? Should I do the right background darker as the light comes from the left side? I used Colin's Schnauzer tutorial, which was a great help with the colours. Do you want to just talk about that then?
I'm not altogether in agreement with that. I know you see me do it, but there isn't a great difference between the shadows on either side of the animal, which is what you usually expect. For instance, if you look at the right-hand side, if that was a lot darker, and the photograph was a lot darker, so you had a lot of light going on the left, then you can probably get away with that more. But I don't. In this particular case, I think Gabrielle's done a great job. If I may, though, I would just pick up on one small thing. The nose itself, if you look at the nose on Gabrielle's, the left nostril is a little big. It's slightly out of proportion. I mean, if you look at the animal, the snout itself tells you that the animal is looking to the left slightly. Therefore, the nose should also represent that. And what's happening if you look at the nose, you could be misreading that as the nose is facing you, and it shouldn't do that. It should correspond with the way the animal's looking. It's only a small thing, but it's something that Gabrielle can alter. I would alter that if I were her, if it hasn't already gone out. If it's gone out, forget what I've said, because it's a lovely picture. But I know that we all want to pick up little things like that. I know if it was me, and if I was in Gabrielle's place, I would want someone to pick that up if I hadn't seen it. But otherwise, brilliant. I'm so pleased. Are you reading the rest of
I
this,
was
or
just going to say, yeah, it's just as
please do, because
fantastic
it's
news.
inspiring.
Also, I want to mention that I started at one of the local Sunday markets, and I was quite overwhelmed when I got 16 commissions today. I was quite shocked. With only 5 weeks until Christmas, I was asked if I had gift certificates, so I quickly made some myself on the computer. To all the members, you can increase your profile by attending markets now. A cheap way to set up a stall with a promising outcome.
Here, here. Totally agree. Absolutely agree. As I said in the past, the best thing to do is either go to markets, craft fairs, or join art societies. Anywhere you're able to put your work on show, because it's the only way you're going to get people that really want to have commissions or to have pet sports race done. Very rarely do they actually go into a gallery and ask the gallery owners. So these are the ideal situations, and hats off to Gabrielle. That's exactly what I did and other people would do.
Brilliant. Nice one. Okay, we'll come back to more of your work later, Gabrielle. This one's from Roz. Hi, Colin and Steve. I thought you might be interested to see how I got on with Bella, the chocolate lab, which you kindly helped me with the other week. I wasn't brave enough to crop the ear as you suggested, Colin, as my friend was so keen on that particular photo. So I went for doing the best I could with the neck using other photos. As you so wisely said, Colin, the sunlight was an issue, and I was unable to achieve a really rich chocolatey colour in the darker areas. All help and suggestions greatly appreciated. Thank you. P.S.
Okay, well, sorry, great. Sorry, you're going to say more?
I was just going to say that she included a scan and a photo, and you can see the difference of how well the scans come out.
Yeah, well, let's look at this. Well, that's a good lesson in itself. We've mentioned this before. Scan pictures are always better than photographs. So let's look at the scan picture. It's great. One of the things that I would pick up on this is really refers back to Gabrielle's question about should she use dark or light. Well, now that light that you've got on the ear could have done really with a stronger color against it. In other words, I'd have made the background that you see on the right-hand side the same all over. The fact that you've got the lighter ear still could work in the same way. You don't have to have a light background with a light ear. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that would have made that light ear stand away just a little better than that. You've got to look at light and dark. After all, a background, as I've said many, many times before, is supposed to be complementary to the animal or to the subject. So a background reflects and helps project your picture forward. That's the idea of it. So to melt it into the background sometimes works, but in this case, it hasn't worked very well. I think I would have made that a little darker. Okay. But brilliant nonetheless, Roz. Absolutely. I mean, our members are getting really good at this, and I can see in a few years' time there'll be no need for me because, well, other than the new members coming along, of course. Hopefully, we'll all have new members. So,
yeah.
But we'll have a lot of experts around by then.
And Roz also
really well done.
Roz also sent us a Christmas card, a Christmas postcard that she'd done with one of her pictures on, and it looks absolutely brilliant. We got it through the post, and it's come out so well. We were so pleased for you, Roz. I think anyone that receives that you're sending to is just going to be so blown away.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh well, what a delightful way of getting the feedback too, because you'll get feedback, almost certainly get feedback. People will say and give you, and that's what you want. You need that. We all need that. We all need to feed our egos a bit. I know we shouldn't be egotistical, and I'm against all of that, but it's nice still to have those compliments because that inspires you. It keeps you going. You think, oh, this has been worth it. So, and you're going to get a lot of them. So that's great. No, well done.
Brilliant. This one comes from Phyllis. Hi, Steve. I have attached a picture which I copied from a magazine. Unfortunately, I have mislaid the magazine and am struggling for a background. I did the picture with Colin's grid method. Your comments or suggestions would be appreciated.
Well, yes, background would look good for this. I would tend to make it, because it's a light cat, I would tend to make the background just a little darker. Okay. Not much darker though. Don't go daft, because if you make it too light, I'm not sure the background will work very well. The background on the picture, I don't know whether that's a photograph again, so it's difficult to actually tell what colour the paper is, whether it's some of our paper
I
or
think it's
it's a
something.
coloured
It
paper.
looks something darker than ours, doesn't it? It looks a bit darker.
It could be, yes. I think what I would do is look through our member, if you remember, look through our pictures that we've done and try to find something similar to that cat. You might find that that there's a background. The color, ideal color, would be something the greeny color in the eye. That eye
Oh
color
yeah,
got
yeah.
there. Well, something like that would look nice. And in fact, the color that I have on the puppy, now, even if you're not a member, you would have seen it on
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube. That might be a good color to use. That was a light gray to start with. Put the light gray. I wouldn't use white. I'd use light gray. And then put those colours in because it's not a million miles away from the colour of that eye. So that would work.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good.
Don't use the same, the ochres though. I think the ochres would be too much the same as the cat. You've got to have some contrast.
Yeah, it would look too blend too much, would it?
But
Yeah.
if you could sort of stretch your imagination now and imagine that eye colour
Mm.
in the background, imagine it now. How nice it would look. See, it's lighter than the cat, so it would
Often
throw the cat forward.
you often pick colours from the eyes as backgrounds,
I
don't you?
do, yeah.
Yeah.
Not always, but very often. Yes, I do. Yes, complement because it's the eyes that people see. When you looked at that cat, you saw its eyes straight away,
Mm.
immediately, because
Mm.
that's where the attraction is. So if you make the background, complementary to that, it works really well.
Mm. Excellent. Well done, Phyllis. Oh, okay. Back to Gabrielle's work here. Obviously, all these commissions.
Well, you can see why she's
You
getting them,
see,
can't you, when she
yeah,
produces those sort of things? Wow.
absolutely. So, two new commissions there from the same client. Then the client asked her to put two portraits with one double mount. Um, so she asks, "Do you think the background is okay?" I think that's for this one here.
Definitely.
Would you recommend a similar color background for the other portrait, which is this one here?
Well, I would, but you've got a problem with that. And if you remember, I've been talking about this over the last few weeks about paws. If you put a paw in, you've got to put it on the ground. You can't just have it floating.
Ah,
You
yes.
can float a head, you can float a neck, you can float all those things, but you can't float paws. It don't work.
So what
Now
would you
you look
do?
at the picture, and it looks like it's floating. If I don't know whether
Yeah,
that's a little feather or something that's on the ground, but obviously the dog is laying on something. It's probably a floor
yeah,
of some kind, I would imagine. Now, what you could use that colour that you've got there because it's not too foreign. That's grey and with a touch of green or 172 comes to mind immediately. Would be
yeah,
quite a good colour. Now you could use that colour, but what you would do where the muzzle and the paw is obviously touching that surface, you'd make the shadow under it. In fact, if you look at it, you can see the shadow on that picture.
yeah,
So if you followed that and then made it a little stronger,
yeah.
that's what I would use. I wouldn't float it though. Don't even think about doing that. It just won't work.
Okay. Yeah,
And the
tricky
other
one.
thing
Yeah.
I would do, man, have you got your little pointer, Steve?
Yes,
The Is that one whole photograph there? I think it
it
is,
is,
isn't it?
but I can.
Can you do something magical
Yeah.
there? That's the way.
Do you want me to
Keep
crop it
going
in?
until that's it. Right, stop. That's it. Now, how nice is that? That's what you've got to do. Exactly that. But you've still got to do what I suggested. You've got
Yeah.
to make it for. Okay, so but cut that rugged edge off because it spoils it, in my opinion.
Okay.
And you will be complimented on that. I guarantee it.
Lovely. Excellent. Well, I think that. Yeah. I mean, look at that. It's brilliant. And the other picture is nothing to say really, is there?
Oh no,
Looks great.
that is the best I've seen so far from Gabrielle.
The
Great.
the Jasper tutorial, the Golden Lab tutorial that isn't a video, but it's a pack. Gabrielle said that that helped with this picture because it's a very similar
Right,
angle.
right.
So that's just a note for other people out there.
Well, I'm going to do a golden Labrador, hopefully sometime next year. I'm still waiting for the right picture. I've got a few, but I really want just the right one. And it's something I shall do next year.
Yeah.
So look forward to that.
Okay.
I know Jasper is a golden retriever, but this would be different to that.
Yeah. Excellent. This one's from Paul. Hello, I've just finished the Romney Church winter scene. I found this one a nightmare. I don't know why, it's just one of those things. I think sometimes I'm trying too hard. The most frustrating section was the bottom right corner. I really don't like that section at all. I think I'd redone that section about 4 times. I really enjoyed painting this picture, all except that one small section. I'm doing these winter scenes to turn them into postcards or Christmas cards. I think the first one I send will be the winning picture. Anyway, try not to rip it too much.
I wouldn't dream of that.
No, but look, I mean, I think it's brilliant.
I think you've done very well. If we go over it, that's a really tough picture, and it's just looking at my picture there. Anybody even tackling it, I think, is brave. Just to say I'm going to have a go at it. And what you've done is a really good job. What you're always you're comparing mine to yours all the time. You know, oh, Colin does it, why can't I then? And you had 4 goes at it and you're still not really happy with it. There's nothing really I can help you with much here, except to say when you've got a lot of foreground like that, minimize it. You've got, you know, if you look at mine, all the little dark areas, it's about half as many as you've got. So you've overdone that a little bit. I would have widened the path a bit, cut down some of that area.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to lose some of it. If I was to go, if you were to let me loose on that, I would kind of rub out a half of all the
this area.
the dark areas. No, just the dark areas. Well, I would rub. Well, you'd have to rub it all out, I expect, but just the dark areas, or lose them, should I say?
Yeah.
And then cover them with snow. That's basically what you do. I don't think where the robin is that bad. If you look at mine, there's a random look to it, which is, you heard me so many times talk about random and how hard it is to do. Random is trying not to put patterns in there. But if you look at yours, Paul, you'll see that you've got identical patterns, one on top of the other. One where the robin is and one below. They work out exactly the same. And then look at mine. You see that? It's where you're looking at keeping uniformity with a picture. Now, it's okay if you've got a building, that's fine. If you've got characters, that's fine. But as soon as you come off of that area into nature, really, and random, you're in trouble because you haven't got anything really as a guideline.
How do you get it to be random then?
You practice, Steve. Lots and lots of practice. What I would do if I was Paul and in Paul's shoes, I would say, right, I've heard what Colin said. I'm going to do as many of his pictures, even if it's only part of the picture, you don't have to do the whole thing, that shows me random design, trees, foliage, anything, and just keep going it until you crack it, because you will do eventually. You'll crack it, but it takes a long time, and it is the hardest. I'm not surprised it's the hardest. How many times have I said to you, the foreground is the hardest part of the picture?
Yeah,
it's the bit that hits you the first thing you see. You think, oh, blimey. But don't be too disheartened that if you look at the rest of it, it's great.
Yeah, and that's a really difficult picture. I think that is an advanced picture as well, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely. I don't. Did we say advanced?
I
on
think
that?
it is advanced. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. There.
So,
But lovely, nonetheless, beautiful. Well done on the attempt.
Great one, Paul. Okay, this picture is sent to us by Simon. Simon sent us a message initially saying that he has to do a white sailor's cap in a portrait, and did we have any suggestions? And then he went ahead with it and did it and cracked it himself. He said, I just went really thick with the white. He says, it doesn't look exactly the way I'd hoped, but it doesn't look too bad either. And he'd like to get our opinion on it when it's done. And it's interesting. Sailors' caps, I don't think we've ever looked at or discussed doing sailors' caps.
No, absolutely.
Like so, great picture, Simon.
Yeah, I think it's great. I don't think you could have improved upon it much at all. The portrait is very representative, and it looks like the person, which is the important thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only thing I would question really is the blue sky above it. Okay. That kind of like takes your eye a little bit too much. So a portrait, like an animal portrait or any kind of portrait, really has to have the character as the main ingredient, and you shouldn't be distracted by the background too much. So this is why I use a lot of foggy backgrounds, and because it doesn't take the eye. But that sky at the top does tend to take your eye. I think if it was me, I would have continued with the dark, with the colour you've got on the sky, that ochre, yellowy colour, all the way up. Mm-hmm. You could have darkened it a bit more. You could have made it a little darker.
Okay.
That would have shown up the cap a bit more, just at the top. But I would have lost the blue sky. In this particular instance, I would. I know you're following one of my pictures, which suggested that, but that's what I would do.
Lovely 3D ripple there in the shading.
Yeah, clever.
Yeah, I thought that was clever, that.
It's clever use of the greys. The only thing, if I can be just a tiny bit critical, if you go to the line of where the cap meets the head on the forehead, if you go to that, you should have a shadow there. If you look at the cap on the left, the photograph, you'll see a shadow. Can you see that shadow? Can you see it slightly? If you look really carefully, you can see it dark at one end, and then it's as it comes towards the front, where it's closer to the head, the shadow decreases slightly, and it's moved to the other side, it increases slightly. Now, what that suggests is actually sitting on the head. That's what suggestion is. Now, yours kind of doesn't have that. If you put that in, you'd be amazed at the difference it would make.
Yeah, nice little tweak, that. Excellent. Oh, nice one, Simon. Thanks for sending it in. Oh, I think we're done.
We've come to the end.
I was really well prepared then. I didn't think that was the end, but there you go.
We've been enjoying ourselves too much. That's the trouble.
We have. Oh, well, thanks, Dad, for that. And thanks, everyone, for sending in your pictures this time. Obviously, this service that we've talked about today with getting feedback on your work is just for members of Colin Bradley Art. So if you're a member or you want to become a member and access all the lessons and all the new pictures that we've got coming up, then visit colinbradleyart.com. You can send in your work as well as an extra bonus, and we'll discuss it on this video.
Great. So we got one more feedback show before Christmas, haven't we? And that will be
I think we have.
Yeah, so 2 weeks' time we'll still be around, won't we, for the show? Yeah. I don't know about the following week, but you'll have to give everybody
give some notice,
a heads up.
Yeah, we should have a week off, I suppose, shouldn't we? At the year,
I
think 1 week in a year.
We could. Yeah, I think we could. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we've got some questions already lined up for the podcast next week, which is going to be great too. Lots of really good information coming into that, and we've mentioned the Border Collie. So if you're not a member but you still want to learn, then along with the Border Collie, we've got 9 other free courses that you can try your hands at and learn some of the techniques.
Well, they get you off the ground, really, don't they? After that, you'll be hooked. And once you're hooked, then we've got lots and lots and lots and lots of really great pictures for you to have a look at.
Absolutely.
And go through. And I'm sure that that's going to be a great boost for us, that puppy. I loved doing it. I really did. Interesting enough, that was 3 different references I used for that.
Did you? I wondered what the reference photo
no,
was.
The 3 different ones. It was because these days I try to make up my own pictures, and I like, sometimes you have to follow what you see on the reference pictures. Well, I don't do that anymore. I kind of think, I like this, and oh, I like that, and so, and I kind of make them up, but it works really well. I mean, they're all border collies, whichever way, and they're all border collie puppies as well.
Yeah.
So I haven't pinched anything from some other dog, so they're all the same breed. But no, it was because what I wanted to do was to create a picture that was attainable
Mm.
but difficult. I mean, when I say difficult, it's not difficult if you're following me.
Mm.
With only 8 pencils, you can't really go wrong. But I wanted something a little bit more challenging, and it's going to be, as you said, fascinating to see people's work and how it's going to. Our members are going to walk it.
Yeah.
I'm expecting really great things from them.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, well, with that said, we'll see you next time. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
Bye for now.